Difference between fundamental rights and directive principles. Similarities and differences. Fundamental rights and directive principles both have a common focus, that is, the nation's progress. Both have been adopted to fulfill the dream of a welfare state and to keep the promises made by the Constitution framers in the preamble. The fundamental rights and directive principles aim for social, economic, and political progress of the nation and its citizens. However, there's a big difference in the way these two are treated in the eye of law. The fundamental rights cannot be violated or denied to any citizen, and if this happens, the person has full authority to seek justice from the court of law, whereas the directive principles, if not practiced or implemented by the government, cannot be challenged by an individual in the court of law. With more than 60 years as a republic, ever since the Constitution came into force, the government at the states and the centre have tried to incorporate the directive principles in their policy and law-making processes. In this way, the directive principles have enabled the government to achieve the objectives that the Constitution makers had set before an emerging independent nation, India. While making the Constitution makers were influenced deeply by the principles of non-violence, upright moral conduct, equality and social and economic status, and the welfare of the people. However, these ideals could not be applied completely while making laws for a great country like India and were likely to appear impractical. To ensure that the spirit of justice, goodness and welfare would reflect in the Constitution as well as be a guiding light for future law making in the country, the Constitution includes these principles under the directive principles of state policy. The directive principles ensure that 1. The state shall work to promote the welfare of the people by promoting a social order in which social, economic and political justice is achieved in all institutions of life. 2. The state shall work towards reducing economic inequality as well as inequalities in status and opportunities, not only among individuals but also among groups of people residing in different areas and engaged in different occupations. 3. The state shall aim for securing adequate means of livelihood for all citizens, both men and women, as well as equal pay for equal work for both men and women. 4. The state should work to prevent concentration of wealth and means of production in a few hands and try to ensure that ownership and control of material resources is distributed to best serve the common good. 5. The state should prevent child abuse and exploitation of workers. Children should be allowed to develop in a healthy manner and should be protected against exploitation. 6. The state shall provide free legal aid to ensure that equal opportunities for securing justice is ensured to all and is not denied by reason of economic or other disabilities. 7. The state shall also work for organization of village panchayats and help enable them to function as units of self-government. 8. The state shall endeavor to provide the right to work, to education, and to public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness and disablement within the limits of economic capacity, as well as provide for just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief. 9. The state should also ensure living wage and proper working conditions for workers with full enjoyment of leisure and social and cultural activities. 10. The state shall endeavor to secure a uniform civil code for all citizens and provide free and compulsory education to all children till they attain the age of 14 years. 11. The state should undertake the promotion of cottage industries in rural areas and take steps to promote their participation in management of industrial undertakings. 12. The state should work for economic and educational upliftment of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other weaker sections of the society. 13. The state should work towards promotion of international peace and maintain friendly and good relations with other nations. 14. The state should raise the level of nutrition and the standard of living and to improve public health, particularly by prohibiting intoxicating drugs and drinks injurious to health except for medicinal purposes. It should protect and improve the environment and safeguard the forests and wildlife of the country. 15. The state should protect monuments, places and objects of historic and artistic interest and national importance against destruction and damage, as well as separate judiciary from executive in public services. Thus, the directive principles of state policy aim to create social and economic conditions under which the citizens can lead a good life. They also aim to establish social and economic democracy. Through a welfare state, they act as a check on the government and provide guidelines to make laws for the welfare of the people.